The system of government in India. The government of India, Bharat Sarkar, often abbreviated as GOI, is a union government created by the Constitution of India as the legislative, executive, and judicial authority of the Union of 28 states and 8 union territories of a constitutionally democratic republic. Let's see. Here we have the seat of the government is located in New Delhi, the capital of India, modeled after the Westminster system for governing the state. Okay, let's see what is the Westminster system of government or the Westminster model. The Westminster system or Westminster model is a type of parliamentary system of government that incorporates a series of procedures for operating a legislature that was first developed in England. The union government is mainly composed of the executive, legislature, and the judiciary. We have mentioned this, in which all powers are vested by the Constitution in the Prime Minister, Parliament, and the Supreme Court. We have one apex court that we call the Supreme Court of India. The President of India is the head of the state and the Commander-in-Chief of the Indian Armed Forces, which means that the President can exercise his power as the head of the state and as a Commander-in-Chief of the Indian Armed Forces. The elected Prime Minister acts as the head of the executive, responsible for running the union government. The parliamentary system of government, that is, the parliament that we have in India, is bicameral in nature, with the Lok Sabha being the lower house and the Rajya Sabha the upper house of the parliament. The judiciary systematically contains an apex court, what we have mentioned earlier. We have a judicial system that consists of the Supreme Court, and we also have 24 high courts and several district courts, such as the Guwahati High Courts, for example. The basic civil and criminal laws governing the citizens of India are set down in major parliamentary legislation, such as the Civil Procedure Code, the Penal Code, and the Criminal Procedure Code. Similar to the union government, individual state government, it consists of executive, legislative, and judiciary. This means that we have 28 states that consist of executive, where the governor have the executive power, and legislative, where the chief minister and the cabinet ministers have legislative powers. And we also have a judiciary system where the high courts access. The legal system as applicable to the union and individual states. Government is based on the English common law. The full name of the country of India is the Republic of India. India and Bharat are equally official short names for the Republic of India in the Constitution. We have the longest constitution in the world, and both names appear on legal bank notes, which means on our currency notes. That is, we have 2000 rupee note, 100 rupee note. Such notes are called the bank notes. The term union government, central government, and Bharat Sarkar are often officially and unofficially refer to the government of India. The term New Delhi is commonly used as a metonym for the union government, as the seat of the government is in New Delhi. Okay, now we shall move on to the legislative power of the Indian government. Okay, let's see. We have the Parliament of India, that is under the legislature. Building of the Parliament of India, as shown in the picture, the power of the legislature in India are exercised by the Parliament, a bicameral legislature consisting of the Rajya Sabha and the Lok Sabha. Of the two houses of the Parliament, the Rajya Sabha is considered as the upper house, or the Council of States and Council of Members appointed by the President and elected by the state and territorial legislatures. The Lok Sabha is regarded as the lower house of the Parliament, or the house of the people. Let's see. We have to remember this. Rajya Sabha is the upper house, whereas the Lok Sabha is the lower house. The Parliament does not have complete control and sovereignty, as its laws are subject to judicial review, by the Supreme Court. However, it does exercise some control over the executive. The members of the cabinet, including the Prime Minister, are either chosen from Parliament or elected thereto within 6 months of assuming office. 6 months of assuming office. The cabinet as a whole is responsible to the Lok Sabha. The cabinet is responsible to the Lok Sabha. The Lok Sabha is a temporary house and can be dissolved only when the party is powerless, which means the majority of the house is not in support of the ruling party. The Rajya Sabha is a permanent house and can never be dissolved. The Lok Sabha is the non-permanent, whereas the Rajya Sabha is a permanent house. The members of the Rajya Sabha are elected for a 6-year term. What we should know here is that non-permanent members are the Lok Sabha members, whereas the permanent members elected for a period of 6 years are the members of the upper house equal to Rajya Sabha. Okay, let's move on to the executive power. The executive power of government is the one that has sole authority and responsibility for the daily administration of the state bureaucracy. The division of power into separate branches of government is central to the Republican idea of the separation of powers. Let's move on to the President. The President of India, the executive power is vested mainly to him as per Article 53, Subpara 1 of the Constitution. The President has all constitutional powers and exercises them directly or through subordinate officers as per the Article 53, Para 1, aforesaid Article 53, Part 1. The President is to act in accordance with aid and advice tendered by the Prime Minister of India, who leads the Council of Ministers of the Republic of India as described in Article 74 of the Constitution of India. The Council of Ministers remain in power during the pleasure of the President. However, in practice, the Council of Ministers must retain the support of the Lok Sabha. If a President were to dismiss the Council of Ministers on his or her own initiative, it might trigger a constitutional crisis. Thus, in practice, the Council of Ministers cannot be dismissed as long as it holds the support of a majority of the Lok Sabha. The President is responsible for appointing many high officials in India. These high officials include the Governor of the 29 states, the Chief Justice, other judges of the Supreme Court and High Courts on the advice of other judges. The Governor of the 29 states, the Chief Justice, and other judges of the Supreme Court and High Courts are appointed by the President of India. The Attorney General, the Comptroller and Auditor General, the Chief Election Commissioner and other election commissioners, the Chairman and members of the Union Public Service Commission, the officers of the All India Services, IAS, IFOS, and IPS and Central Services in Group A, and the ambassadors and high commissioners to the other countries on the recommendation of the Cabinet. So the President of India has a very high responsibility and also has a lot of power. The President, as the head of the state, also receives the credentials of ambassadors from other countries, while the Prime Minister, as head of government, receive credentials of high commissioners from other members of the Commonwealth in line with historical tradition. The President is the de jure Commander-in-Chief of the Indian Armed Forces. The President of India can grant a pardon to or reduce the sentence of convicted person for one time, particularly in cases involving punishment of death. So the President can pardon a convicted person. Let's note that the decision involving pardoning and other rights by the President are independent of the opinion of the Prime Minister or the Lok Sabha majority. In most cases, however, the President exercises his or her executive powers on the advice of the Prime Minister. Presently, the President of India is Ramnath Kovind. Okay, let's move on to Vice President. The Vice President of India is the second highest constitutional position in India after the President. The Vice President represents the nation in the absence of the President and takes charge as acting President in the instant of resignation, impeachment, or removal of the President. The Vice President also has the legislative function of acting as the Chairman of the Rajya Sabha. The Vice President is elected indirectly by members of an electoral college consisting of the members of both the houses of the Parliament in accordance with the system of proportional representation by means of the single transferable vote, and the voting is by secret ballot conducted by the Election Commission. Okay. So we know about the President and the Vice President. We'll now move on to the Prime Minister of India. The Rashtrapati Bhavan complex with North and South Block housing the Prime Minister's office, Cabinet Secretaries, Minister of Defence and others. The Prime Minister of India, as addressed in the Constitution of India, is the Chief of the Government, Chief Advisor to the President, Head of the Council of Ministers and the Leader of the Majority Party in the Parliament. The Prime Minister leads the executive of the Government of India. The Prime Minister is the senior member of the Cabinet in the executive of government in a parliamentary system. The Prime Minister selects and can dismiss other members of the Cabinet, allocates posts to members within the government. He is the presiding member and chairman of the Cabinet and is responsible for bringing a proposal of legislation. The resignation or that of the Prime Minister dissolves the Cabinet. The Prime Minister is appointed by the President to assist the latter in the administration of the affairs of the executive. We'll now move on to the Union Council of Ministers and list of Indian government agencies. The Cabinet of India includes the Prime Minister and Cabinet Minister. Each minister must be a member of one of the houses of the Parliament. The Cabinet headed by the Prime Minister and is advised by the Cabinet Secretary, who also acts as the head of the Indian Administrative Service, abbreviated as IAS, and other civil services. Other ministers are either as Union Cabinet Ministers, who are heads of the various ministers, or Ministers of State, who are junior members who report directly to one of the Cabinet Ministers, often overseeing a specific aspect of government, or Ministers of State, independent charges, who do not report to a Cabinet Minister. As per Article 88 of the Constitution, every minister shall have the right to speak in and to take part in the proceedings of either House, any joint sitting of the Houses, and any committee of Parliament of which he may be named a member, but shall not be entitled to a vote in the House where he is not a member. I hope it's quite clear. Let's move on to secretaries or secretary. Secretary to Government of India. A secretary to the Government of India, a civil servant, generally an Indian Administrative Service or IAS officer, is the administrative head of the ministry or department and is the principal advisor, the minister on all matters of policy and administration within the ministry or department. Secretaries to the Government of India rank 23rd, 2-3 on Indian order of precedence. Secretaries at the higher level are assisted by one or many additional secretaries who are further assisted by joint secretaries. At the middle, they are assisted by directors, deputy secretaries, and other under secretaries. At the lower level, there are section officers, assistant section officers, UDC, upper division clerk, lower division clerks or LDC, and other secretarial staffs. Okay, we'll move on to civil services. The civil services of India are the civil services and the permanent bureaucracy of India. The executive decisions are implemented by the Indian civil servants. In the parliamentary democracy of India, the ultimate responsibility for running the administration rests with the elected representatives of the people, which are the ministers. These ministers are accountable to the legislatures, which are also elected by the people on the basis of universal adult suffrage. The ministers are indirectly responsible to the people themselves, but the handful of ministers are not expected to deal personally with the various problems of modern administrations. Thus, the ministers lay down the policy, and it is for the civil servants to enforce it. Cabinet Secretary. The Cabinet Secretary, IAST, is the topmost executive official and senior-most civil servant of the Government of India. The Cabinet Secretary is the ex officio head of the Civil Services Board, the Cabinet Secretariat, the Indian Administrative Service, and head of all civil services under the rules of business of the government. The Cabinet Secretary is generally the senior-most of the Indian Administrative Service. The Cabinet Secretary ranks 11th, 1-1 on the Indian order of precedence. The Cabinet Secretary is under The cabinet secretary is under the directors of the Prime Minister of India. Okay, thank you so much. Please like and subscribe, and thank you all.